Welcome back to another episode of Chat GRC, where myself, Devin, and Casey interview a grassroots candidate every week. Young lady, would you like to introduce yourself and what you're running for?
Yes. So my name's Alexis Caliborne, and I am running for the U.S. House of Representatives in California's 3rd District in the 2026 midterms.
Woo!
Do you want me to go
Love it.
into like who I am too?
Of course. I mean, might as well.
Sure.
Who you are, what inspired you to run in this cycle, all the good things.
Yeah. So I currently hold elected office. I was elected in 2022 for our local Community Services District Board of Directors. And what inspired me to run back then was that I felt like my voice and the voice of my generation was not being heard at the local level, which is the general vibe across the board at this point. So I decided to throw my hat in the ring. I did not think that they would elect me because at the time I had purple hair. I was like I'm the board president now, and if you look at the website, I have hot pink hair. So
Love it.
I didn't think I was going to win, but I did. And so like I've always had this connection to my community and really wanted to uplift it. I work in the nonprofit sector. I've spent my entire career working with underserved populations and helping people find their voice and use it loudly. And I think that that's what we need at the federal level right now is people that are not in this for themselves. Like I'm running because I care about my community and I recognize that our current leadership does not. So I decided to run. Figured, you know what? If this man can be in the White House, I can be a congressperson.
Really? It's as simple as
Literally.
that.
Yeah.
If we can have this, then I can run.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If we can listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace
Yeah.
and Boebert
That part.
Yeah.
spew off their nonsense, I think we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
So we ask everybody, and the answer is always different every time. So what would a congressperson have power-wise at the local level for you in California?
So this question was one of my favorite ones to think about because there's so many people in the district that have come to me and like brought certain projects that are going on the local level and brought concerns about those. And I'm like, okay, I agree. And also I can't really do anything and I wouldn't be able to do anything. So I think that there is this people don't always know the difference between local, state, and federal roles. At the federal level, you especially within Congress, you have the power of the purse. So that federal funding. I work for Planned Parenthood, and we are experiencing some federal funding issues currently. But one of the things that Congress can do is make sure that these funds are allocated. I'm part of the education team, so completely separate from the health centers, but our grant that we're funded by comes from the federal government, and they have said that California cannot take those funds at all. So we're working through that right now.
Yeah.
But just making sure that the programs that our communities rely on are funded by our federal government. Our current representative claims to have amazing constituent services and work really closely within the community, but then, he won't let you in his office to talk to him when he's in town.
Of course.
So right. Right. So that's like another role too is making known the services that are available within the community. That's something that my website Girly is working on right now, is compiling all of the resources that I trust or that I've partnered with or I know of in our communities across the district, so that my website can be a hub. So that you can come to me if you need immigration support, if you need healthcare, if you need mental health care, and I'll have but there's a lot of resources. So it's under construction. And then obviously like policy, not only writing policy, but advocating for different policies and making sure that they have the intended effect, because I think that we have a lot of policies in place that you're not always going to know what the outcome is going to be, right? Until you actually implement something. But there are a lot of really harmful policies in place. So advocating for those changes.
Yes.
Yeah, I do love that there's going to be resources on the site, because I think a lot of people don't realize that that's what they should be getting.
Right.
Mhm.
Like, if your government's not working for you, then what are they even doing?
Sitting around.
When's the last time the incumbent had a town hall?
That was like February. He does
Okay.
phone town halls now, but he screens all the questions and only answers the friendlies.
Of course. That's how they're doing it now.
So they're all such cowards.
Mhm.
Jesus Christ. Every answer
Right.
just gets worse every time.
Every time. We thought 2003 was the worst one.
Yeah, this one's screaming
Oh my
the
God,
questions.
2003?
Yeah. So one of the people we were interviewing, Bonner, said that his has been like, I think it was 2000. Well, the guy went into office in 2003 and the last town hall in person ever was 2009.
Yeah.
So
That was 17.
Yeah.
Half my life ago.
crazy.
Yeah. I don't even know how old I was.
It's crazy work.
That's math.
But this kind of leads
bad.
perfectly into the next question because you were talking about policy. We have talked to a couple people that are running in California, and California is huge. So I'm really wanting to know in your district how the constituents have been affected by this administration 8 months in and how you would protect them in office.
So I have this huge frustration in California because we're a blue state and it's a red district. And so these policies are going into place and we're not feeling it too bad right now. Obviously, like the Medicaid cuts, those will go into play after the midterms. Very strategic on their part. But that's going to be a huge impact on District 23. We are the second most reliant on Medicaid across the country. And our representative voted to cut Medicaid funds. So that's going to be a huge one. And again, very strategic because I'm anticipating a blue tsunami in the midterms, and we are just going to flip seats that were thought to be unflippable across the country. And then for anyone that is not politically involved and really watching this, it'll be very easy for the Republicans to just spin it as, oh, Democrats did this, it's their fault. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I definitely have this frustration of like, we are protected kind of by our governor who, he set aside millions for lawsuits and other things that he was anticipating coming up with this administration, with this last budget that he signed. So we aren't feeling it too bad. Healthcare is going to be the biggest one, I think. And then we also have a very high immigrant population in District 23. And the incumbent is he has a lot of stock in the private prison system. And so he is a huge advocate of turning our detention facilities into detention facilities for migrants. And so we have one in Adelanto that was actually shut down in 2018 because of how horrible it was and all the inhumane treatment. That is now reopened. Treatment hasn't changed. It's still awful, and they won't allow any other Congress people to provide oversight. So Obernolte's allowed to go in, nobody else. And we've had 3 others that have tried and they've been denied at the door. So immigration is a huge one too. They're also trying to open another facility in California City, which is also in the district, that not only are you now housing people in inhumane areas and not treating them like human beings, but you are quite literally kidnapping people off the streets that are very valuable to our communities. So that's something that we're feeling a lot. And we have a lot of organizations that are working together and organizing to provide legal support. And then we also have a couple organizations that are organizing to like do buyouts for street vendors so that they don't have to stay out all day and they can go home, to kind of protect our communities in that way. But I'm like getting chills right now.
Yeah. People don't think about that. Like, to your point is that you're like a red dot in a blue state. So they're not going to feel the effects as quickly as those in those very rural, deep South red states that are
Right.
preemptively
Right.
closing hospitals, preemptively cutting staff back. And, they have kind of full reign with, National Guard members being deployed, which we'll talk about, but they feel those effects right away, where you still have Gavin Newsom and, mayors and senators and Congress that are still kind of keeping you in that bubble, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen just because you're in a blue state.
Right.
So that's why they need somebody
Right.
like you that is going to work in unity with the governor to make sure that everyone's protected, especially your constituents. So I think that's a great point to
Right.
bring up, is that we're not just safe because we're in blue states.
That part.
Yes. Yes.
And you're not trying
It
to
may
openly
feel safe, but we're not.
But we're not.
Yeah. And you're not trying to openly invest in or advocate for concentration camps.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like Casey did say, we are seeing the National Guard in California. That was his first attempt at, just being in a whack job. So people are thinking that Democrats aren't doing enough, in the courts or legislatively to, try to get them up out of here. So is there like a loophole that someone in Congress would be able to use to go against something like this?
I mean, the biggest loophole is that Congress does hold the power of the purse, and technically they are supposed to sign off on these things. So if we flip enough seats, then we can stop it. I agree that I don't think that Democrats are doing enough at this point, and also I'm not really sure what more I want them to do. Especially speaking from a Californian, I was actually at the protest in LA the day that they mobilized our Marines because they sent them from my district. And it was so unbelievably frustrating for me because it was completely peaceful. And then they started shooting at us and physically moving us down the street to get us to leave. And it's like, why are you here? Why are you here? There's no reason. LA was fine. What's frustrating too is why would you pick LA first? Because we do not take it. We're gonna fight back, and we're gonna fight back hard.
Historically.
So you put the military in our area. We're not gonna sit there and just let that happen.
Yep, they underestimated LA, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Which is wild because we have a very long history of not sitting back and letting you do whatever you want.
I think it was a power play that he tried to pull, and it did not work out in his favor.
Yeah.
What, they got 300 National Guard left there?
Yeah. And
It's not enough
from
to
what we've been
do a
reporting on,
takeover.
they don't want to be there. They don't. But
No.
But this administration was able to find loopholes in the Constitution. And to us, we're thinking, oh, we definitely need to flip these seats because somebody like you could come in and try to button up those loopholes and say, this is how we can fight back, is make sure there are no loopholes. And then if they try to pull it, that we're right there
Right.
behind to sue and stop it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Today, I had to report on something I'm sure you heard because it might affect your district, which might is crazy. It's not. But today, we saw Republican leaders floating the plan to split California into two separate states, claiming that the inland communities, such as District 23, are being underrepresented and therefore should be split in half. And as somebody who's running to represent the area, do you think this proposal is about being underrepresented, or do you think this is just all political theater from Republicans who are sore losers?
100% it's political theater from Republicans that are sore losers. First and foremost, we are actually a pretty purple district. So we just have low voter turnout. But actually, looking at the registered voters, it's +6 Republican. So it's not as drastic as it seems. When you look at the turnout, it's +20 Republican. But when you actually look at the registered voters, it's not. So that's definitely not happening here. And I think that if we're talking about underrepresented, let's talk about how the current incumbent is worth $98 million and has a $12 million private jet that he flies back and forth between here and DC. And you're going to be representing a district that is predominantly working class and poor class.
Mm-hmm.
That's not representation.
That is exactly the way it needs to be put. That's what representation would be. And, you know, what would you do when you're in office? I'm sure you would not have a private jet and fly it to and from DC. But obviously, if voter turnout is an issue, are there things that you are already thinking about in the back of your mind? Like, this is what I'm going to do to make sure that this is something we could fix in the future.
Yeah. So honestly, I just made a video yesterday about the two-party system in general. I think that having a viable third party and fourth party and fifth party so that we actually have options, that solves a huge issue. I also think that putting more people in office that are real people that understand what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck, that understand what it's like to live and work and fight within the district, like those are the people that we need in office. Those are the people that we need to represent us, not people that are just going to show up during the election season, not people that are going to spin. I mean, the incumbent's PR team is phenomenal because his newsletters read like he is doing the greatest things for our district. He's fighting for veterans, he's fighting for the working class. He's very anti-labor, he's very anti-organizing, and it's like you're voting to cut funding to the VA. You're voting to cut funding to our hospitals, but that's not what you're saying that you're doing. And so I think that engaging voters, and we're actually going to be doing voter registration drives to get people to register.
Nice.
And also, like, I'm canvassing already, and I don't even know how many months out from the primary, 10 months out from the primary, 9. So and in every interaction, I talk about who I am and show them that there's a viable option here that is just like you and not at all like what we have in office right now. And I've seen a lot of excitement so far. So hopefully we can kind of ride that wave through with the general.
You just got to keep them on for the next for the next 8 to 10 months.
Exactly.
To keep them engaged.
Yeah.
We will keep screaming about you grassroots candidates until we are blue in the face.
Perfect.
We're not gonna shut up about it at all. We are very much on the side of, all right, the people there that are not doing their job, time to go. Time to go. So
yeah.
We might be able to get that with a little bit of gerrymandering, a little bit of. So since we're seeing that Gavin Newsom is actually doing it the right way and putting it on the ticket for the special election in this upcoming November, do you think the other blue states should be following suit, seeing as how we're in like the crazy circumstances that we're in right now?
Yeah, I feel like gloves should be off, should have been off. And, Newsom is doing it the right way. He's allowing the voters to vote for it. So we have a say if this is going to go through or not. I personally wish he took it a step further because he could have, he released a couple of, I think they were leaked. I don't think he released them. But there were a couple of maps that turned California entirely blue. So, I feel like he should have gone further. I feel like
just color it
just
blue.
5 seats, yeah.
Why stop there?
Yeah. And everybody should be doing it. Gloves should be off.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, call Kathy Hochul, call Wes Moore, tell them, okay, you said you're going to do it. Pull the trigger. Do it.
Do it.
What are you waiting for? You're in a hostile government.
Tag them in this when you post it.
Because Gavin, everyone's jumping on the Gavin train. Everyone's starting the Gavin 2028 because he was the one that stepped up to the plate and did what everybody's been screaming for the past 8 months, which is why I believe it's led to Republicans, the GOP leader, James Gallagher, saying we need to split the state in half.
Like,
We're
what?
losing so bad. We need to just take what we believe
Yeah.
might be red and go somewhere else.
Which is wild because, like, if you really took just the strong red areas, it would just be pockets of land. Like, you're
Yeah.
gonna get
It's not like a city.
Yeah.
no, you're not even no.
It's not going to work in their favor. And like I said in the video, it's been tried like over 200 times in the history of California being a state to
That's
try and make
crazy
it
work.
multiple states. And it just never works because nobody in Congress ever wants to pass something like that. Why would they? There's no
Right.
reason.
Right.
Except that they're sore losers.
201st time the charge. 301st time.
It is. Yeah. And so we're happy that Gavin Newsom is stepping up to the plate. And of course, nobody wants to gerrymander. But when we're put in a
Nobody wants
situation where we have to fight back with fire, it's good to know your constituents that you would also take that route, which is like, if I don't want to have to do it, but if I am put in that position, I'm going to do it. I'm going to vote for it.
Yeah.
I love to hear it. But we want to know specifically for you what your top 3 priorities would be when you win and get into office and head over to DC.
Okay. So I'm gonna say one that like doesn't really count. But very first thing is articles of impeachment, especially if we have the numbers, because what is happening? That one doesn't count. But
No,
my
that
3,
counts.
like,
It does count.
That counts.
For a lot of people, it's a priority.
then I'm gonna give you 4.
Make that one every time.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly I do every time, and like usually it lands really well because even in District 23, I don't want to say most, a lot of Republicans are not happy with what's going on and are like, yeah, I'm gonna have to vote blue in 26 because what is that man doing? So yeah, that's number 1. And then I'm gonna lump 2 together so that I can keep it to 3. In District 23, again, we are heavily reliant on Medicaid. And so not only do I care about my constituents, but I also think that everyone in this country deserves free healthcare. So I would be advocating for Medicare for all and really pushing for a single payer healthcare system. So that, because like with medical debt and with people that are having to choose between getting care and feeding their families, like that should not be a reality. It just shouldn't be a reality.
Yeah.
And then my third priority is all about the economy and money. So I am all for overturning Citizens United and stripping corporations of their personhood. I do not think that you pouring millions of dollars into campaigns is free speech. I think that is rigging elections.
Yep.
I also want to see a fair and just tax system where the ultra rich are paying their fair share so that we can lower the tax burden on the working class and folks specifically in my district, but again, across the country. And minimum wage. Like, I've had so many conversations about the federal minimum wage because it's essentially left up to the states at this point, because $7.25, let's be real, that's not that's not a livable wage. But if you raise it to $20, that's great for some rural areas in like North Dakota. You could buy a house with that, but $20 an hour in California, you're gonna maybe get a studio apartment or 5 roommates. Like, you're not gonna be able to live comfortably, and not even comfortably, but like you're not going to be able to live off of that. So I think that we should not leave it up to the states, but it also shouldn't just be a number that's across the board for everyone. And it should be based off of the cost of living, which Congress literally has access to that data, and they could do it. They just don't. So that it's, because California, we're slowly increasing our minimum wage, but even that, like, still not livable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't be, one size fits all in this country.
Yeah.
Right.
Every state's different. So it could be, yes, that to your point, that might work in most states, but it's not going to work in New York It's not going to work in California.
Yes.
It's not going to work in Massachusetts, where cost of living is just higher because we have nice cities and people want to live in cities. It's a tourist area. People spend a lot of money.
Mhm.
Just so many things factor in. So I do think that's something I hadn't thought about was, making the
Yeah.
minimum wage for the cost of living and always
Yeah, that's
adjusting
Yes.
it as the cost of living adjusts as well.
That would be
Right.
amazing.
Would just be across the board the best for everyone.
Yeah.
See, and that's
Perfect.
what happens when you put real people in office.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you get perfect answers.
Mhm.
You just go, wait, why are we doing one size fits all?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, why are we doing this again? Yup. So after this most recent election, a lot of constituents, they feel like their vote doesn't matter. What would you say to someone who's checked out or doesn't trust the system? Honestly, I feel like you should just tell them your 3 priorities.
Run those back.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would start with I hear you, and same. And that's why I'm running, because I think that we need real change and we need people that see the system as failing, that are willing to go in and fix it. I have people that are working on my campaign that didn't vote in this last election because they felt like it wouldn't matter. In California, voting on the federal level, especially for a presidential candidate, like it's going to go blue no matter what.
Right.
And also still vote. But I think that the most I mean, we saw this with Zoran Mamdani. The most motivating thing is having a candidate that's actually out in the community, actually bringing these progressive policies forward, that's unifying. My neighbor across the street has a picture of Trump taped to the inside of their door, and a Trump pillow and a bunch of Trump swag all over the house. And they've donated to my campaign, and they are super cool people. I don't understand. And also, like, they're very
Okay.
supportive of this congressional run because they know who I am and they know that I'm going to fight for everyone, not just one side or the other,
Mm.
and not
Did,
just the 1%.
did you tell them you want to impeach him?
No.
It's like, actually, I led with the Medicaid
Yeah.
minimum wage. I left the impeachment out of that one.
Sorry.
Yeah, I do think that what you said earlier, which is that there are people that are registered to vote that aren't showing up to vote in your district, and I do believe people get complacent when you're in California
Mhm.
and you're like, well, no matter what, we're going to be blue, so I'm just not going to vote.
Yeah.
Or, what does my vote matter in a huge state like California? I think people think about it so much bigger than what it is, which is, even with the primaries, the elections on the local level make such a difference in your district.
Absolutely.
And it goes all the way up the ladder. And somebody like your neighbor, though they might love Trump, might not love the people that they voted for in the district because they're not showing up and
Right.
taking care of them. Now, you can argue they're not doing that because the president is allowing it to be this way and is kind of allowing them to act the way they've always wanted to act, which is to go to DC and do nothing and not be there for their people. But it all starts with your vote, and I do believe that now more than ever everybody should be going out and voting in every election, not just the presidential election every 4 years. And
Absolutely.
I hope that your canvassing that you're doing is proving that to people, that it's like, guys, you gotta vote every time.
Every
There's
time.
not a lot of them.
And because so you mentioned like local elections, and I think it's really important to point out that your vote holds more power on the local level. In our district, we have so many city councils and school boards that are so far right and representing blue districts because people just don't vote. People just don't show up. And so part of what I'm doing with my campaign is working with candidates that are progressive, that are running for local office, so that we can coordinate when we're canvassing. So like if I'm going out there and knocking on a door in Redlands, then I'm going to be promoting the school board candidate that's running in that same
Mhm.
area. And same thing
Perfect.
with city council candidates.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think that's why some people keep getting voted in over and over again, is that there isn't that new group of people coming in and voting
Mm-hmm.
to knock them out. That's why we're
Right.
not like ageist here, but it's like at some point you've got to go and start seeing who else is on your ballot, but you're just so comfortable just continuing, if you do vote, to go vote for the same person over and over again because you think that's all you have to do. That's all you get.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I definitely think that Gen Z is going to turn out in
They
record
better.
numbers in this primary because I feel bad for them. Some of them, this is their first time voting. And imagine this past election being your first election that you voted in, and how just like that could really make people not want to vote. If you see that and you go, wow, my first time voting, and we let this happen. But Gen Z didn't think of it that way. Gen Z was like, oh, bet. Oh, we have to go to primaries? Okay. We got to start from the beginning? Okay, got it. So I am excited to see, to your point, I think it's going to be a blue wash. I think people are going to be shocked. And I do think people are going to be shocked at the amount of people that register to vote and show up to vote as Gen Z. That's going to be.
And people think Dems are going to be shocked to see some people are going to lose their jobs. I think there's going to be some like you're just going to see the ticker on MSN and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Some people
They're
are
not in Congress anymore?
I know all of them have their like celebrations already planned. They're going to be at the like bar they rented out for the night with all their people. And they're going to start seeing the numbers and going, my God.
See Alexis Caliborne, California District 23. And we're going to be like,
he's going to be on his jet.
Like, that's what you get.
Yeah.
That's what you get for doing nothing.
I do want to ask if have talked to the incumbent, like if he has acknowledged you, because we have talked to a couple people where they're like, yes, and some people said, yes, they tried to scare me, or no, they're acting like I don't exist.
Yeah, he's definitely acting like I don't exist, and he knows that I exist. So somebody that is on the city council in Hesperia, he has a relationship with the incumbent because he has to ask for federal funding and things like that. And he told me that he had a conversation with him, and he specifically asked, like, please do not endorse anyone until after the primary because Alexis and Paul are the two that he's concerned about. So me and
he's
this
shook.
other dude.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. He's shook.
Say my name.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know who I am.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, actually, he was speaking at an event a couple weeks ago, and I showed up with a poster that said, "Thanks for keeping my seat warm."
And I know he saw it, and I know he was like,
I know.
We love a good shit talker. Ooh, I stand a shit talker. Yes.
security.
Subtle but deadly. Get her.
Yes. Well, we have fun questions at the end. We try to keep it a little lighthearted at the end. This is one of my favorite questions. I think it might be Devin's favorite question too, because we like to think that we know what the answer is, and then everybody surprises us.
I think I know what the vibe of this one's gonna be.
Yeah. If you were running for president, who would be your dream VP pick, living or dead?
Okay, so I have a lot to say about this, but Devin, I want to hear what you think the vibe is going to be before I answer.
I think the vibe is going to be somebody that is like very quick with the clapbacks.
Okay. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so this is something that I have not shared on the campaign trail at all. My first memory of like what I want to be when I grow up was the first female president. And then I lived and like made decisions and I was like, no way, I'm going to do that. But maybe, because now like people are asking me like, okay, after Congress, what are you doing? Like, are you going to run? And Megan Wingfield, actually. We've talked about it. I don't know if you from Kentucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Megan.
Yeah. I literally emailed her like a half hour.
Yeah. We've talked about Wingfield and Claiborne and Wingfield for the White House. Yeah.
Wait.
I can see that. Yeah. Somebody with some sass on them and clapbacks.
You guys and the
that checks
debates
out.
would be so funny.
Right?
The debates.
Right.
I'd be front row. I'd end up at the podium.
Shade that would be thrown.
So good. Well, when we have Megan on, she better say you.
She better.
I'm holding her to that when she comes on, that she has to say you. But I do like that. I actually think that would be just like I think that would be a landslide win.
Right.
Yeah, I would take that ticket in a
They're like,
heartbeat.
we can't just have one woman in the. We need two.
Yeah,
Yes,
give me
That'd be
exactly.
a clean sweep.
Ooh,
Wait,
yeah,
yeah,
that'd be a
no, yep,
powerhouse.
that I love it. I was definitely thinking, I was like, she's gonna pick a woman. I know she is.
Yeah, I was like
Yes,
AOC,
I was actually I was like
Jasmine.
AOC and Jasmine because the clapbacks, but I think that
Mhm,
Megan,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
mhm.
I love
Because
it.
I remember the first video I saw of you, and I was like, Alexis is funny as hell.
Yeah. Like, we'll say here, like, some of my favorites was I was like, Alexis is a badass because we
Mhm,
watched your video. It must have been a couple months ago now, like way back. Feels like years ago that somebody
mhm,
had thrown or like broken your windows.
mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, like
yeah.
thrown something through your windows, and you were like, "You think you think that's
Yeah,
gonna scare me?" And I was like,
she's like, "You think I care about that window?"
she was like, "Look at my window."
Yeah. I literally needed new ones anyways. Now I have new
It
windows,
was
so
so
thank
funny.
you.
You're just like the zoom in
That's
on the window. You're like, "Do you think that's gonna
like,
scare
that's
me?"
gonna
Yeah.
stop. Like, that's gonna stop me.
And I'm glad I
Window.
pissed you off.
I was like, "She's a badass," and obviously somebody doesn't want her to run. Somebody's
Mhm.
Like,
scared.
oh, it's working. It's
Yeah.
working.
That's when I think that was a moment that clicked to me that the grassroots candidates are rising up because I was like, if they are literally going to your home and vandalizing your property to try and scare you off, that means that either
Mhm.
the incumbent paid somebody to go do it or somebody in the community was like, oh, I think she has it in the bag and I gotta like scare her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's gotta
she's a scared
go.
little girl. If we'll
Right.
break her window, she'll just, be beside herself. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
meanwhile, you were
That
like,
doesn't work.
okay,
Like, fuck
and
that window.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. That was my least favorite window.
so good. That's when I knew. I was like, here we go. Alexis is
Yeah.
not playing.
Yeah, she got this.
But we
All right.
also, yeah, we have one final question. I was about to outro. Oh my God.
Yeah. We're not rushing her out yet. So yeah, our last one that we ask everybody. So what are the reasons that you love living in California?
I have left twice and I hated it both times. So I moved to North Carolina and like I hate the humidity. I love how green it is. Hate the
Mhm.
bugs, hate the humidity. I lived in Colorado and I actually did really like Colorado, but I surf and so I missed the ocean. And then I finally was like, okay, I'm not leaving again because every time I try, I just miss
Pulls you right back.
California. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we have a bunch of different ski resorts. I used to teach snowboarding as well. So like I want to be close to the mountains. Joshua Tree is my favorite national park because of the desert. I have the ocean. Like where I live, I am literally 15 minutes from a ski resort, an hour and a half from the beach, 2 hours from Joshua Tree. Like I'm good. I'm good. And like 2 hours from LA if I want to go
Why
out
would I
out. So
leave?
like
Yeah.
yeah,
It's always crazy
I'm
when
fine
you
here.
talk about California and everyone that we've had on because it is quite literally like a state that has everything. Like it's got ski
It's a
resorts, it's
country.
got the desert, it's got the
I didn't know they
beach.
had ski resorts.
Yeah.
Like,
We have big ones too. Like Mammoth is in Central California, so it's up a little bit, but like and Yosemite National Park is here.
Yeah.
We've got the
yeah.
redwoods, like
Mm-hmm.
San
Yeah. You're cool
Francisco.
as hell. You're out here surfing too. We
Yeah.
need to see surfing vids now.
Okay, I
Get
don't
some
surf
surfing
well.
vids. Okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, we need videos from the surfboard.
Yeah. Like she surfs. Why wouldn't you vote
Yeah.
for her? Come on.
She's
We like to
cool.
vote.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Alexis, thank you for coming on the Blue-Lusional podcast. We really enjoyed having you on, and it feels so cool. We love having on our people that we've known for like months. Feels like we've watched your journey from start to well, we're gonna watch your journey from start to finish, and it's not over
Mhm.
yet. Like we are ramping up even more, and we love seeing
Mhm.
everything that you're doing. And before we outro out, we want to give you a chance to shameless plug all your socials, where everybody can find you. And if you have any events coming up, go ahead, shameless plug away.
Okay, so all of my socials are Claiborne for Congress, except for Facebook, that's Alexis Claiborne. But they're also all linked on my website, which is claiborneforcongress.com. We do have a few events coming up. All of them are on the website. If
We'll
you
have it
click
linked.
events and like Yeah, yeah. And like I also put on my website a calendar, and in the calendar, every event that's on there, if I'm gonna personally be at the event, then it'll have the times that I'm gonna be there. Or if it's just my team, not just my team, they're superstars, they're fantastic. But if they're gonna be working it for me, then that's there as well.
Yeah.
We do have a really big fundraiser coming up on October 4th. It will actually be in Venice Beach, which is not in the district, but we had this incredible space donated, and like it rents for tens of thousands of dollars a night, and he was just like, yeah, let's flip this seat, you guys can have it, go for it.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
So
Nice.
you want to hang out with us, we're gonna have some live
Yes.
music, and then we're gonna do like the program with like politicians and food and drinks and whatever else, and then we're gonna have politics after dark, and there's this huge LED screen, so we're gonna have music playing, we're gonna do karaoke, like it's gonna be a vibe.
You guys should go live
Yeah.
during it so we can feel like
Okay,
we're there
yeah.
with you.
I want
Yes,
I
I
want
want
to
to
go.
go. I want to go. Could we go remotely?
Damn it.
They just set their phone up and go live and then add us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just sit in there and
Vicariously
pretend that
live
we're
through you.
there.
Perfect.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully we'll have you back on after you win.
Yeah.
Or in person. We're going to go to the Capitol. We're just going to start running around the
Yeah.
building and knocking on
Yeah.
all of your doors.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
we're
Hey,
here.
us-
Remember, so many people have made a promise, so one of you has to bring us there.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
We're gonna have the NASCAR jackets with all the candidates.
All of the
on them.
candidates, all the time zones. We're going to be up all night. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for listening into this episode. We'll be back every single Thursday for another grassroots candidate interview. And we will hope to see you next week. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.